And I'm Akira.
And you're watching
DONTAE'S Boxing Nation.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters! I don't know what this world is coming to!
Hey yo, check this out, this is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth, and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another great edition of the DONTAE'S Boxing Nation show. We are back. I know we've been gone for a while, but we'll be back on a regular schedule. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. You know what? First things first, let me go ahead and give shouts out to everyone who have been buying the DBN shirts, showing the love and supporting the channel. I really, really appreciate it. A lot of you guys have been asking me, when I'm going to put some more back up on the website for you guys to buy. I'm about to order some more. So once again, I appreciate you guys buying the shirts. And, once again, man, you guys can show your support, man, by buying these shirts or even donating to the channel. So for everyone who donated to the channel and bought shirts, once again, I appreciate it. Also, we're going to have them hats out, too. We're going to get them hats out as well. So let me go ahead and introduce the panel, as always, and let's get into it, y'all. First person up is my man AK Arab King. Check out his YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I got my man Fred from Barbershop Conversations in the building on the phone as well. Let's get into it, guys. Also, my man over here in the studio on the ones and twos, my man George. What's going on, George?
Back laying it down.
What you been up to, man?
Not too much, just messing with the stuff.
Messing with the stuff. That's going down, y'all. All right, y'all. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Man, the first thing I want to bring up is PBC is back at it again. They continue to deliver. For all the detractors that's praying for their downfall, you're going to be waiting for a long time, I'm telling you right now. Because, Steven Espinoza, he just dropped the lineup, and we're going to have a whole bunch of very competitive fights when it comes to fighters on the PBC series. Fights on Showtime and some fights on free TV. So let's go ahead and start with you, Fred. Now, the news that was just dropped today, we already knew the fight was coming, but now we know it's official. It was officially announced today.
Like a referee with a whistle.
Oh, man, okay? All day, huh? Thurman versus Garcia, man. Go ahead.
Thurman versus Garcia.
Or say whatever was on your mind. Say whatever you was about to say. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I was going to say Thurman-Garcia is probably the first quarter, probably the most anticipated fight because we're clamoring for Danny Garcia to get into a fight at 147. But I dropped a video last week, and I told you guys PBC was about to drop their schedule because it's been all this banter and all this rumors stating that PBC is out of money, they going broke. I said, no, they're not out of money.
They praying, Fred. They praying.
Yeah, they pray. What Biggie say? They pray and pray on my downfall. Man, it ain't happening.
Yeah,
it ain't happening. They got over 250 fighters, and they still have over $500 million. So be still, be patient, and enjoy the fact that you're not paying $17 a month to watch an Abner Mares fight or a Jose. What's his name? Jesus Cuellar fight.
Yeah, Jesus Cuellar versus
that's
Abner
a big fight.
That's a real big fight. I mean, Adrian Broner versus Adrian Granados. Man, that's a big fight, man. It's a lot. But see, this is my whole thing, Fred. I mean, where were these detractors when HBO was losing money? And I say when. I mean, they're still losing money. You don't see nobody celebrating when HBO is losing money, when we're not getting the fights we're supposed to get. But we already know what time it is when it comes to Al Heyman. All of a sudden, they literally getting on their knees before they go to sleep, before they eat. They praying for the food that God give them. And then they say, oh, yeah, and please, Lord, please strike down Al Heyman and all them other bastards on the coincidental list. So we already know what time it is.
But they don't understand that Al Heyman has a multicultural investment team. So if you're praying for an Al Heyman downfall, keep in mind, he has white investors as well. He's not the only investor that's investing in PBC. It's not coming from one source. So, I mean, they need to be more wise. And just to shut it down, let's just enjoy. Just take into account if you're comparing schedules, right? Crawford Postol was on pay-per-view because HBO didn't want to pay for it, right?
Yep.
But then you fast forward, we get J-Rock and Jamal Charlo, which is better than any fight that they've put on. HBO turns down a Pacquiao Vargas fight, but picks up a B-Hop Joe Smith fight.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
so I mean, so just sit down and enjoy it. You're getting free 50. I would say 65% of the fights are not on Showtime. You got Tuesday night fights, Friday night fights, and Saturday night fights, and the tickets are so reasonable that a family of four, like going to a baseball game, can go to a boxing event. So I mean, I'm not sure if you've been to a PBC fight, but
yep.
you know, it's not really a big fight. The tickets are $10 and $15, $20. You know what I mean? So I mean, just sit back and enjoy it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish, man.
No, and I was gonna say, I mean, people may say I'm slightly biased, but at the end of the day, the more boxing that is on TV and in these arenas, is the more money we make and the more content we can give you guys. So at the end of the day, the more boxing, the better.
But see,
and that's just what I feel.
But see, Fred, in this case, it wouldn't even matter even if you were biased. I mean, you could work for Al Heyman, and you know, there's nothing that we're saying that people could deny. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that we're saying that people can refute, basically. Because if you are a true boxing fan, you should be celebrating that we're getting fights like Thurman versus Garcia. You know, we just got Thurman versus Porter, earlier this year, and now we're getting Thurman Garcia. Then later on, we're most likely going to get Errol Spence versus the winner of that fight. So, you know, they continue to produce. You know, so once again, if you're a true boxing fan, there should be no reason for you to say, you know, I want this man to fail. Why? Why would you want him to fail? So we don't see good fights? Once again, like I always say, they're willing to watch the whole, or they're willing to sink the whole ship, you know, just to get one person. Even if they got to kill their own damn self. Even if they own the ship, they want the damn ship to sink as long as they kill that person when they die as well. So, I mean, we know what time it is. And by the way, you know, for those of you guys who don't know, Fred is very, very good friends with Sam Watson, which is pretty much the second in command when it comes to the PBC movement right now. So, Fred, he's definitely going to know if Al Heyman is going broke, you know, and all that kind of stuff, you know. I mean, but it's crazy. I mean, they keep, you know, to piggyback off of what you just said, Fred, people acting like, you know, this is the Homeboy Shopping Network or something, you know. Al Heyman,
Homeboy Shopping Network.
yeah, Al Heyman is the real deal for my Living Color fans, you feel me, going back on you. But yeah, man, this is the real deal, man. They want this man to fail so bad, you know. They want him to fail so bad, and they, you know, the more successful he is, it's quite the contrary when you think about it. Because the more successful Al Heyman is, the more angry these fans get, and it's supposed to be the opposite, right? So anyway.
Right.
But AK, man, so how does it play out, man? Thurman versus Garcia. Does Garcia have a chance? And I start off asking like that because so many people think that Thurman is just going to annihilate Danny Garcia. But I mean, I don't see it as an annihilation. I see this as a very competitive fight. How do you see it, AK?
Yeah, well, first of all, a lot of people are, criticizing Danny Garcia because of the guy he's fighting right now, but after I heard that he's fighting Keith Thurman next and it's official, why not? Because at the end of the day, he kind of need to get ready, and he haven't fought for like almost a year or even like more than a year. I'm not too sure. But as far as the fight with him and Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, he has a chin. I don't think Keith Thurman is knocking him out. I think this fight will go the distance. Keith Thurman has a lot of power, but Danny Garcia has a hell of a chin. He got hit by Matisse. He obviously got hurt, but his leg didn't even buckle. It's really hard to tell when he's hurt or when he's not because he really could take a punch. And he has knockout power himself. His left hook, Keith Thurman got to watch out for that. But as far as the fight, I feel like it's a 60-40 fight for Keith Thurman because I feel like he has more skill. He will end up outboxing him, in my opinion. However, Danny Garcia has a shot. Keith Thurman sometimes throws a lot of haymakers, and he leaves himself open, so he could get countered as well. And if you ask me who has the better chin, I will probably say Danny Garcia, even though Keith Thurman is the bigger guy in this fight. But this is going to be a hell of a fight. Keith Thurman, in my opinion, should have even took a tune-up fight versus his mandatory and got that out of the way before this fight, just kind of to get the rest out of the way, because it will be like almost like 9 months when he fight Danny Garcia in March since he fought Porter. But this is a 60-45, very competitive fight. So both fighters have a shot. However, I feel like Keith Thurman, like I said, has way more skill, and he will end up outboxing him. I don't see no knockout in this fight because both fighters have tremendous respect to each other. No matter what Keith Thurman say, no matter what Danny Garcia say, they both know it, and we all know it.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's going to be a knockout, but I see knockdowns in this fight. I see somebody get knocked down. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them get knocked down. I see fighters getting staggered in this fight. And when it comes to, who has a better chin, I would say they're pretty much on the same level when it comes to chin, because I've never seen Keith Thurman, or I should say we never seen Keith Thurman hurt, at least not with a shot, on the chin. We seen him hurt to the body against Luis Collazo.
He got hurt before. I forgot the guy name. Is pretty tall, throws a lot of volume punches. He hurt him in the first round. Do you recall that?
Which fight was that? Yeah, I can't recall.
The guy who knocked out Berto.
Soto Karass?
You talking about it was Soto Karass that knocked out Berto. Yeah, I forgot he knocked out Berto.
He hurt Keith Thurman in the first round when they fought. He staggered him.
I remember.
Came back.
Well, see, now I do remember the punch you're talking about. I thought he kind of stunned Keith Thurman with the same punch that he hurt Berto with. I think it was an overhand right over the jab, right? Is that what it was?
Actually, Keith Thurman just threw a wild uppercut. I don't know what he was thinking, and he got caught with the overhand while he threw a wild uppercut from the outside, which he probably wouldn't make a mistake like that versus Danny Garcia. But yeah, that's something he gotta watch out for.
Yeah, I still think the chins. It'll be interesting. I mean, yeah, because I don't recall Danny Garcia ever really getting hurt. He's taken some good punches. He did look a little suspect in the Zab Judah fight. In those later rounds, he did look a little hurt in the Zab Judah fight, and I don't really know if it was just a matter of attrition in the Lamont Peterson fight. But I'm telling you, man, both chins will definitely be tested because Danny Garcia is known for winging his punches. But at the same time, Keith Thurman, he wings his punches as well. But I think, he's just a little bit more, maybe just a little bit more precise. But this is a great fight, man. This is a really great fight. And that fight.
What I say about that is we also got to keep in mind, Danny Garcia keeps his opponent in the fight. His recent history shows that he doesn't have the ability, or he has the ability, but there's no separation. It's always like 2 rounds in question. Did he win this round? He never cements the fights in recent history.
Yeah, when he stepped up in competition.
The fights he's won. Yeah, even the fights he's won, he's been down on a card in our eyes as viewers. You know what I mean? And I think Keith Thurman creates separation, like he did in the Porter-Thurman fight. He knew it was an even fight, 9, 10, 11, and 12. He went out there and attempted to get separation.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
You know what I mean? So I think that Danny Garcia, I don't know if it's conditioning. I don't know what it is, or does his power deteriorate? Like every fighter, you don't go into the 12th round 100% like you did in the first round. But it's that inner man, or if you're from my hood, it's that inner nigga in you. You know what I mean? That's gonna be like, I'm not losing this fight. These are the championship rounds. You know what I mean? And I don't know if Danny Garcia, he has that. You know what I mean?
Find out.
He's a coaster.
He going to
find out.
Yeah, exactly. And when he fought Lamont Pearson, that's another thing. Lamont Pearson, in my opinion, he beat him. A lot of people had Danny Garcia winning, but I had Lamont Pearson winning. He kind of boxed him earlier, or didn't get hit as much, and then came back in the later rounds and took them rounds. And you never seen really Keith Thurman, or has he ever been in that position versus Porter in a close fight? He in the championship rounds, he showed up, and then he separated himself, like you said.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm picking Keith Thurman, because of that reason, because of the separation that Keith Thurman, he always brings to the table in his big fights.
On top of all of that, on top of all of that, I also believe that Danny Garcia, he has a history of slowing down in the championship rounds. He slowed down in the Zab Judah fight. I believe he slowed down in the Lamont Peterson fight, as AK just basically alluded to. The whole thing is you won't be able to do that against Keith Thurman. You won't be able to do that against Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, he could fight 12 hard rounds. Now, one thing I do wonder is if Danny Garcia, he's going to go in this fight a little bit more cautious, because he knows the type of power that Keith Thurman has. And Danny Garcia, he may look a lot better in this fight because of it. Just being weary, of Keith Thurman's, power, because I don't think Keith Thurman is going to be worried as much about Danny Garcia's power. But at the same time, that doesn't mean he can't get hurt, because I could see Keith Thurman getting hurt as well in this fight, the way they exchange. I mean, when I look at those exchanges from Thurman and Porter, and I think about the type of exchanges we're going to see in that Danny Garcia-Thurman fight, man, it's going to be explosive, man. It's going to be explosive. But I see Danny Garcia going in this fight being a little bit better defensively than he's been before, because he's going to be cautious. So that's what I think. But I'm still leaning towards Keith Thurman.
Yeah, but I don't, honestly, in this fight, I don't think it's going to be as fast-paced as the Porter fight, because Danny Garcia doesn't push the pace like Porter does. Porter made that fight that way, the way he was fighting. He was being aggressive. Every time he got hit, he would try to come back, and made it for an exciting fight. But Danny Garcia is a more calculated fighter, and if the punch ain't there, he's not going to throw it, So I feel like that's going to play to Keith Thurman's advantage. But Keith Thurman, like in the Porter fight, he kind of got wild himself. And when Porter in portions of that fight was outboxing from the outside. So he can't make that mistake, either. But it's going to be a hell of a fight, man. And I just believe, I think Keith Thurman has this one in the bag,
Absolutely, man. But this fight right here, it's going to be on March 4th, Showtime, associated by PBC. It's going down.
Oh, man. And the funny thing, the fight is going to come so quick, because we got fights every weekend. Because HBO got to come with fights now. You know what I mean? Top Rank got to come with fights now. So the gaps that we have now are going to be filled with HBO and Eddie Hearn's fights and all of that. They're going to be filled in. So we're going to be busy.
It's almost unfortunate, for at least the other fights that fell through, because we almost had like 3 cards on December 10th. We would have had Golovkin versus Jacobs. We would have had, I believe, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Andy Ruiz versus Joseph Parker is also December 10th. And now we have Jamal Charlo going against J-Rock Jr. Williams.
All the other fights would have been moved. There's no way you compete with a Klitschko Joshua. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like scheduling a birthday party on Super Bowl Sunday. It ain't happening, right?
Yeah.
that one will have been in the morning, though, so it wouldn't have competed versus those fights.
But
that's a good point. Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, they were fighting. They would have fought in the UK, and that fight is out of the way. So
within 2:30 hour time.
Yeah, and Klitschko, he didn't want that work, man. He made all type of excuses, and at the end, he was just like, "Oh, I'm hurt out of nowhere. How the hell you got hurt out of nowhere?" I mean, which is possibly, anybody could get hurt in any day, but at the end of the day, we all seen that coming. And the way he was, and we all knew he wasn't gonna fight nobody like Joshua. At this point.
And like I said in many of my videos before, and I was going to talk about this later on, but when Eddie Hearn first mentioned that he wants to match up Joshua with Klitschko, I said to myself, there's no way Klitschko is going to take that fight. But then all of a sudden, Eddie Hearn, he kept saying, oh, we're getting closer, the announcement is coming. I was like, wow, so Klitschko is going to take the fight? Then all of a sudden, sure enough, I guess I was right, because all of a sudden, Klitschko, he started making a million different excuses. The first excuse was he wanted to fight for the WBA title as well as the IBF title. But that didn't make sense, because if you pull out of this fight, you're still not going to be fighting for multiple titles, no matter who you fight against. So that doesn't make sense. And now all of a sudden, once the WBC or the WBA is coming closer to making a decision if they're going to sanction that bout, now all of a sudden, now Klitschko is injured. So now it's like, regardless if he gets what he wanted from the WBA, he's still not going to take the fight. So it's not looking like Klitschko is too, anxious or eager to get in the ring with Anthony Joshua. And on top of that, Vladimir Klitschko, he sparred tons of rounds with Anthony Joshua, so he knows what Anthony Joshua is all about. But that would have been a great fight, man. I just really wanted to see Anthony Joshua be tested, man. I mean, he's been tested. He done fought like 4 or 5 undefeated fighters back-to-back, but that would have been graduation day when it comes to being tested if he would have went in there with Vladimir Klitschko, So, I mean, and he don't want – and right now, Anthony Joshua – he doesn't really want that Deontay Wilder work right now, and is what it's sounding like, because Deontay Wilder has been calling out Anthony Joshua, and I don't know why, but Anthony Joshua, he said, well, no one really wants to see that fight. When you hear somebody say something like that, that's kind of a dead giveaway as far as I'm concerned. When you say something like that,
that. Yeah,
he said that. He said that. You guys can Google it.
I didn't hear that yet, but.
If you Google it, you can just Google Anthony Joshua says, nobody really wants to see that fight. I'm paraphrasing, but he says something pretty much on those lines. He was saying that that fight is not in demand, is basically what he was saying. So,
even though Wilder, I know he got his hand injury going on and stuff like that, so I don't know when he's going to be able to fight next. But, yeah, that's kind of weird, because Wilder, as far as his end, he said, after his fight, of course, his last fight is not the fact that I want to fight them. Do they want to fight me? So But that's kind of surprising. Yeah, but at the end of the day, the heavyweight, I mean, is heating up, and Ortiz, he signed with her, same promoter as Joshua Hearns, right? So they could make that fight too, but I don't think he would do that, Eddie Hearns. I don't think he would do that right now. But
no, he's gonna build it up. He's gonna build it up probably in about a year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Man. But I'm telling you, it's about to go down in the heavyweight division. I would say close towards the end of 2017, we should really, really see who emerges as the number 1 pound for pound heavyweight. Undisputed.
The dust will be clear about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No doubt about it, man.
Yeah, and the fact that the heavyweights is, that's where the money at, and you can see Joshua selling so much pay-per-views back in the UK, and I think Klitschko's getting a lot of money for that fight, which I was surprised that I seen why. I was like, I didn't understand why Klitschko would take a fight like that, because I knew he wouldn't take it, but when I heard the money they was offering him, I was like, oh, okay, well. That's probably why, but then he ended up ducking him. So, but at the end of the day, my point is, heavyweights is where the money is at. And when you have an undisputed heavyweight champion, it's gonna bring boxing back to the old days. Even though it seemed like it.
Yeah, absolutely,
but
man.
I got a quick question, though. Pacquiao versus Vargas is November 9th, but I still don't know what channel it's going to be on.
It's not gonna be.
It's gonna be on the private feed.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be on no channel. It's gonna be on Top Rank channel. Like I said,
Top Rank channel.
Yeah, which is no channel basically. Yeah, Top Rank. Bob Arum, he's basically doing an independent pay-per-view fight. So it ain't gonna be on HBO. It ain't gonna be on Showtime. So the question is,
you only could stream it.
No, it's going to be on pay-per-view. It's just going to be an independent pay-per-view. Like the old school days. Well, I say old school days. How every now and then we see those real small pay-per-view fights where they don't be on HBO, they don't be on Showtime. It'll be like some small ass card, and it'll be on pay-per-view for like $39.99 or $24.99.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it's going to be. And now, I mean, the question is, will this affect the pay-per-view numbers? I don't think it will, because everyone, they know the dates. But, speaking of Pacquiao, AK, now what I want to ask you guys what you guys think about this. Pacquiao just recently said today that he's not sure if he's going to continue his career after the Jesse Vargas fight. AK, why do you think he would say that? Do you think he means that when he says that? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you come back just to fight Jesse Vargas and go back to retirement? I don't understand that.
Well, that's a money grab, but I mean, because I heard that he was broke or something like that, which I don't know how he blew up all the Floyd Mayweather money that he made, but that's kind of weird because they were just saying about he want to fight Floyd Mayweather, this and that, and of course, Floyd Mayweather, he retired now, but you saying all that means you still want to stay active.
Mm-hmm.
So just coming out with that, but they always say crazy shit like that.
They always say crazy stuff like that.
After Vargas, I'm going to fight Crawford, or I'm not ready yet, I just need a tune-up. And then he comes out with something like that. I guess so they won't put pressure on him to fight Crawford. That's my only opinion right now, because, after the fight, everybody going to ask him, are you going to fight Crawford next? But this way, if he says, this is my last fight, I don't want to fight no more, he's going to say, I'm retired now. And then once he fight a good opponent that he could make money off, he probably come back. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing again and again. It's just a way, I guess, to avoid hard questions, in my opinion. Like, are you gonna fight Crawford? Are you gonna fight?
That's what I was about to say.
Are you gonna fight? Yeah, that's my opinion.
Hey, Fred. I mean, do you think maybe he's doing this because Bob Arum just said just the other day, Bob desperately wants that Crawford fight, and Pacquiao, he doesn't want that Crawford fight at all. Do you think this is a situation where basically Bob is like, look, man, you're gonna have to take this Crawford fight eventually? And now Manny Pacquiao's like, look, I'm telling you, Bob, I don't want that fight. Freddie Roach is saying, we don't want that fight. Freddie Roach, he came out and he openly said it. He said that, look, Terrence Crawford is like Floyd Mayweather with power. He said, I'm going to tell Manny Pacquiao not to take the fight. So, what do you think, Fred? You think that Manny just is trying to get out of that Terrence Crawford fight and he only wants the Mayweather fight? What do you think?
Well, I've interviewed both of them, and Bob Arum told me that this was a tune-up fight for the Terrence Crawford fight. I know 100% Freddie Roach doesn't want Terrence Crawford. 100% Bob Arum wants Terrence Crawford.
Sure.
But I wouldn't be surprised if you find Manny Pacquiao in April fighting a PBC fighter. I wouldn't be surprised.
That would be
April,
big.
May, I genuinely wouldn't be surprised.
Broner.
You mean a big fight?
That's what I would expect for Pacquiao to fight someone from the PBC side. And two, he's trying to get right now a Timothy Bradley fight, but there's no opponents available. There's no belts available. So Timothy Bradley is in a conundrum because he don't want to fight Jesse Vargas again, and he can't fight Pacquiao.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's no free belt. There's no free belt for Timothy Bradley. So Timothy Bradley is on ice until something frees up.
I tell you what I would like. I would like either Bradley Broner or Pacquiao Broner. Either one of those would be big fights, or even Bradley or Terrence Crawford versus Broner. Those would be some good fights as well.
I feel like Porter versus Bradley will be perfect at this point because Bradley just lost to Pacquiao and Porter just lost to Thurman in a good fight. So that's
a good one.
Timing that's the right timing for Porter and Bradley, and the winner of that will fight what's his name, Errol Spence, once he wins the IBF title, because Kell Brook gonna vacate the title, and he's gonna be the champion. And it's funny because his Porter father, Kenny Porter, he stated that he will never fight for the IBF title anymore, which is kind of funny to me, just because now Errol Spence is the #1 mandatory for it, and he's going to be a champion soon. Now you're stating that you will never fight for the IBF title anymore, because they treated him wrong with the Kell Brook situation. They dropped him.
Kenny, he said that they actually removed them from the IBF rankings after they lost. So he was blaming it on the IBF. He was trying to say the IBF was trying to protect Kell Brook from a rematch. That's pretty much what Kenny Porter was saying.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if that's the case, fight for the IBF. Let's say is Errol Spence the champion. Let's fight Errol Spence, And then if you don't like the IBF, throw the title away, but get the fight out of the way. You know, just make the money, and you become the champion and recognized as the champion. You know, but just saying that, because I feel like the way Kenny Porter was sounding, I felt like he didn't want to fight for the IBF just because Errol Spence was there. That's how I felt.
Yeah. I mean, ain't nobody jumping to fight Errol Spence, but eventually they're gonna be forced to do it, just like Danny Garcia was forced to fight against Keith Thurman, because I truly believe Danny Garcia, he was not, anxious to get in there with Keith Thurman. Matter of fact, I heard reports that Al Heyman, he had been wanting to make that fight for quite some time, right, Fred?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, and it
was without a doubt, and he pacified. Fuck it, I just started it. He pacified Danny Garcia with this Vargas fight, and then with an ultimatum to fight a Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, I'll give you a fight. I'm not throwing the money in. I'll give you a fight. And then, but this, you have to take this fight next. And that's just and that was just it. You're the WBC champion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And guess I don't know if y'all know this now. Kell Brook and Amir Khan talking about, now they want to fight each other. It seems like they kind of like Amir Khan is feeling like, I'm not. I mean, if Thurman is happening versus Danny Garcia, I'm not going to be able to fight for that title. And now they want to fight each other. I'm like, so y'all went up in weight, got y'all ass beat, and now y'all want to fight each other?
Waiting till the buzz is they waiting till the buzz is gone to where nobody really cares about the fight. Now they want to fight.
Like I don't want to see that shit no more. Because I guess Amir Khan heard about Floyd Mayweather probably coming back because he was sparring. So he's probably thinking, if I could beat a Kell Brook in a huge fight, like in a huge money fight, Mayweather might consider me as an opponent. But I'm just like, when it comes to Kell Brook and Amir Khan, Kell Brook saying he can't make 147, but when it comes to Amir Khan, he's jumping for it. Let's make it happen now. And I'm like, I thought you can't make 147 no more. What's happening?
Yeah.
So we all know what's the deal. Kell Brook he don't want to go back to 147 because of
Errol Spence.
He had no problem making weight at all. He was fighting his mandatories, get him out of the way. His excuse all the time was, he's my mandatory. And now, as soon as Errol Spence became his mandatory, I'm too big for the division, and he moved up to fight Golovkin and got his ass beat. And now he don't want to go back to 147 unless it's for an Amir Khan fight, which we all could see through it. And then Amir Khan, he won't fight Keith Thurman if Keith Thurman becomes the champion, but he could fight Danny Garcia, of course. But he won't even fight Keith Thurman because he knows Keith Thurman got that, one time. But at the end of the day, like that, they making the UK look bad, man.
He said the UK, the whole UK look bad.
You know what they are? Ambulance chasers. Keith Thurman, not Keith Thurman, Kell Brooks and Amir Khan, ambulance chasers. You know what analogy came to my head? Remember in middle school and you had your two friends that dressed the best for all the dances, and they sat up against the wall and watched the party take place? Mm-hmm. That's who those two are. Like, they want to look the best and don't want to participate.
Yeah.
Exactly. Amir Khan, and I'm telling you guys, Amir Khan got offered $10 million for Kell Brook. $10 million to fight this guy overseas, and he turned it down.
That makes no sense.
$10 million.
I didn't know. I didn't know he was offered 10. I thought it was like 5 or 6, but yeah.
No, it was $10 million.
And he turned it
down. And he turned down the fight. So.
And now he ain't gonna get nowhere near $10 million. At least I don't think so.
And then the crazy part, and on the other hand, Kell Brook is not even. It's not like he's in the same position because there's the same thing happened to him with Errol Spence, but also with Vargas. That fight almost was made, and then, I don't know if it was a money thing, and then, he wouldn't fight Vargas, that shocked me. I mean, I'm pretty sure, we all know he probably would have won that fight, but, turning down Vargas' fight, but then going to fight Golovkin, it was just all a money grab, and now they want to fight each other. So it's like, is the fight's not even interested anymore. I mean, I watch it, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like lost the buzz.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
they
big
just
time.
both got knocked out.
They both got knocked out.
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, and he called him Canelo now, which is like, you know, you want to go from a money grab to a bigger money grab. No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know.
But one thing I will say, the crazy thing about Kell Brook's money grab is a lot of people think that he went in there for whatever it's worth. He went in there and exposed or slightly exposed Gennady Golovkin, because it wasn't until Kell Brook jumped up 2 weight classes, got in the ring with Golovkin, that now so many fighters have been confident to call out Gennady Golovkin. So, you know, he was so you know, he did a little damage. He did some damage to Golovkin's reputation, and you know,
the dominant fighter, the dominant fighter like Tyson, like, you know what I'm saying?
What do you say?
I said a dominant fighter, a.k.a. Tyson.
A.k.a. Tyson.
The way he was dominant.
Hey, he better. He's better than Tyson. You know, according to Golovkin's trainer, you know, he's more dominant in everything. You know, so
they say you're only dominant when you knock your opponent out. I mean, it's like this. You could be dominant in a 12-round fight if you win 11 out of the 12 rounds. You know, and you know what I'm saying. And you can't, and if you knock somebody out, you could still end up being not dominant in that fight if you don't look good.
That's like,
you know, before you knock your opponent out. Just like Kell Brook and Golovkin. Golovkin didn't look dominant in that fight.
No.
He was getting his ass beat. You know, I mean, he wasn't getting his ass beat literally, but at the end of the day, he was getting hit with all type of punches, and it looked like he got hurt by a wolf's weight. So that was not a dominant performance.
Well,
so
I mean,
to say you're better than Mike Tyson, and coming off that performance, and the best guy on your resume is you, a C-level fighter, that's what's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like saying, you know, a basketball team is not dominant unless they're dunking, you know, on their opponents, you know, the whole game. Even if they win 120 to 100, it's not dominant if the majority of points was by layups and three-pointers. I mean, that's pretty much what you're saying. I mean, you got to understand something. The layup and the dunk, they're both worth 2 points. So you're just talking about style points, and style points really don't exist when you think about it. But, you know, once again, you know, Abel Sanchez, when he said that, you know, he turned around and then said, well, you know, Floyd Mayweather is dominant because he wins every round. So that pretty much shuts down the, you know, the accusation of a fighter not being dominant because he doesn't get the knockout. It doesn't.
Yeah, but he contradicted himself, because at first he was saying that you are not a dominant fighter unless you knock your opponent out. He said.
Yeah, he said that.
Go back.
I know. That's the point I was making.
So he's promoting Gennady Golovkin, though, too.
Oh, yeah.
His job is to promote Gennady Golovkin. He gets 10% of his purse, so his job is to promote him as best he can.
Yeah.
I feel like he's kind of like the new Freddie Roach almost, because at the end of the day, he's a good promoter. You know, when it comes to his fighters, he really promote his fighter well. You know, a.k.a. Golovkin. And you know, with his, and we're talking about this, you know, Jacobs situation. You know, they versus Canelo, he wouldn't take the $10 million or $12 million. I don't know how much they offered him, but I mean, take that fight, get Canelo on your resume, beat him, and become the star, and then demand all the money you want versus a Canelo rematch. But then he ends up doing the same shit as Jacob, and doesn't want to give him 40%, and doesn't want to move up in weight. So it's like, which one is it? You know, you can't be mad at what Canelo does, but you're doing the same thing to Daniel Jacobs. You know, and Daniel Jacobs, I believe he wants that fight now. It's just the fact that he want to get paid for it.
You want to get paid.
How you gonna versus the most feared man at middleweight, right? How you gonna take less money for that than the fight the fight he took with Kid Chocolate? You know what I'm saying? Like, he made $1.5 million for that fight. Y'all want him to make 1.2 versus Golovkin? That don't add up. That don't make sense. You should get paid more and more. The more you progress in your career, and the better fighters you be. So he should get paid at least, I feel, in my opinion, like 1.9 for this fight. You know, 1.9 million, or at least the same purse. If anything, 1.5 million. But I can't lowball him and try to say, oh, Canelo's the bad guy in this situation. but y'all doing the same thing to Daniel Jacobs.
And that's what Juan Manuel Marquez said. Marquez, he said the exact same thing. He said, you guys are doing exactly to Jacobs what Canelo was attempting to do to you. And to go back to the Canelo situation real quick, I say Golovkin, even if Golovkin is not going to take the deal, Golovkin should at least call Canelo Alvarez's bluff and just see where they take it from there. Call their bluff. Because as far as I'm concerned, Canelo Alvarez, once again, like Juan Marquez, matter of fact, was it Marquez? It was someone else that said, it was Chavez. It was Julio Cesar Chavez that basically said that Canelo Alvarez, he's basically trying to lowball Golovkin because he doesn't want the fight. You know what I mean? So once again, if that's the case, Golovkin should call his bluff. And like you just said, AK, worst case scenario, if that's the only way Golovkin is going to get the fight and they want that fight so desperately, so bad against Canelo Alvarez, they should go ahead and take the pay cut. Take the cut, and then once again, you become a bigger star. And then you can start demanding even more money for a possible rematch with Canelo or even fighting against Danny Jacobs or whoever else.
Exactly. And Dante, it's funny. With Canelo, when he fought Cotto, Cotto was making crazy demands, and he ended up making $30 million. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he ended up making like $30 million, and Canelo was getting $10 to $14 million. I'm not too sure. So Golovkin is not as big of a star as Canelo when Canelo fought Cotto, right?
Oh, of course
and
not.
Canelo let Cotto make $30 million just to get that fight because he really wanted that fight. He knew he could beat Cotto and become that guy. So Canelo is doing the same thing what Cotto was doing to him. So why will Canelo give Golovkin that much money or let him get more than 10 or 12 million? That's stupid. And like I said, at the end of the day, do what Canelo did. I'm speaking about Golovkin. Do what Canelo did in the Cotto situation. Take less money and fight the man. And once you beat him, you become the man. And then you could demand all type of things. You can't keep...
Yeah,
absolutely, Fred. So the thing is, who should budge in this situation? You have Golovkin that's happy to take the 25, the 75-25. You got Jacobs that's pushing for 60-40. Who should budge?
Well, here's what I believe, and this is a conspiracy theory. They're playing each other. They both want to fight low-risk fights. No one wants to be in a high-risk fight. And that's what I genuinely believe, because if Triple G loses, his career is over. He becomes vulnerable. If Canelo loses again, he's not a superstar anymore. He has to climb his way back up, and there's no one else to fight. So that's why they're not fighting the Andrades, the Charlos, even Chavez Jr. I think Chavez Jr. could potentially beat Canelo at 160. That's a hell of a fight, I think. The Chavez Jr., a couple of years ago, he still has a lot in the tank.
You said Charlo?
Chavez Jr.
You said you think Chavez could beat Golovkin. Is that what you said?
No, not Golovkin, Canelo.
I can't make 160.
Wait,
that's what I'm saying. If he could, that's what I'm saying.
Run it back real quick, Fred. You said you think who could beat Golovkin?
No, I was talking about Canelo. I think Canelo, because I think Chavez Jr. can give Canelo a hell of a fight. Oh
yeah, Chavez Jr. Yeah, no doubt about it. But like AK said, he'd have a hard time. He'd have a hard time even making 160. He probably can't even make 168. So
that fight.
The winner of all this is David Lemieux. Yeah. The winner out of everything is David. He's gonna get 2 big paydays. The winner is David Lemieux, and that's it. Corrado Bella. They're not fighting each other. I don't see it in any one of them eyes. Even I don't see it. Yeah. I genuinely don't see it.
Hey, I want to go back to what I want to go back to what you said about Golovkin when you said if Golovkin loses, his career is over with. And, this is the reason why I want to interview Larry Holmes, because I feel that Golovkin is somewhat the Jerry Cooney of boxing today. You know, because when Jerry Cooney was undefeated, he was knocking everyone out. You know,
White hype.
Yeah, fans, exactly. That's what he was. The fans were going crazy. Same thing happened back then. If you were to criticize Cooney or say anything about Cooney, you know, you would have people going crazy. You would create a civil war in the sport of boxing. That's how it is with Golovkin right now. If anyone criticizes him, even though we have professional boxers of all different races and nationalities, you know, you got fighters like Paulie Malignaggi, trainers like Robert Garcia, Teddy Atlas, Anthony Joshua, and you know, Roy Jones. The list just goes on and on and on. So the bottom line is you have all these people criticizing Golovkin. People were criticizing Jerry Cooney as well as a hype job. You know, like you said, they looked at him as the great white hype. And now it's so funny because when he lost to Larry Holmes, that buzz just completely disappeared. So when you say that, yeah, if Golovkin loses, you know, his career will be over with. The funny thing, Fred, though, is that's exactly how fans are acting, because you could tell that a lot of fans that support Golovkin a lot, they really want him to fight softer competition. They don't care who he fights. They just want him to keep winning because they understand that if he loses, like you just said, his career, it could be over with. You know, so I mean, unless he gets in there with an Andre Ward or, you know, some real tough opponent and it's like a close fight and he could possibly come back and redeem himself. But, you know, if he goes in there with a guy that, you know, blows him out and he can't come back and win a rematch, yeah, it's pretty much a done deal. You know, it's pretty much a done deal. And then people like ESPN who said that, you know, rated Golovkin as top 25, one of the greatest fighters of all time. Now they're going to have to explain that. You know, I mean, so it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure on Gennady Golovkin right now. And we haven't, like I keep telling people get upset when we speak the truth, but we're going to keep speaking the truth, though. And at the end of the day, Golovkin is 34 years old. And he has never been in a Mayweather Corrales type of fight, a De La Hoya Ike Corte type of fight, a Carl Frampton Leo Santa Cruz type of fight. He's never been in the ring with that level of competition yet. But there are fighters out there that can give him that type of fight. Golovkin just has to be willing to get in the ring with those type of guys. You know, so. We'll see. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, the toughest battle he's had is with the English language. I mean, that's it. Outside of that, he hasn't really had any tough bouts at all. You know,
that's his signature.
English language.
That's his signature.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, split decision. He wins by split decision every time. But man, it's gonna take a lot.
Yeah,
it's gonna take a lot for him to get in the ring with the real fighter. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is, I have him beating Canelo. I just think he wore Canelo down.
Me too. I thought before Canelo would beat him, but after watching Canelo get outboxed by Amir Khan, and I know that Golovkin, not only is he powerful, but he has a great jab. He can fight on the inside. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I'm not real confident in picking who will win that fight, because then I have to think about the Golovkin versus Kell Brooks situation. And I have to wonder, how does Golovkin do, when he gets hit? You know what I mean? With a guy who has power that is similar to his power. Because Golovkin, right now, he has the luxury of being really the only massive power puncher in the whole division. The middleweight division is not like the heavyweight division where everyone has power. You know what I mean? When it comes to Golovkin, he's in a league of his own when it comes to power. Now, Danny Jacobs, he has power too, which is why I would like to see that fight as well. But the point that I'm making is Golovkin is not used to getting in the ring with guys the same power, the same natural size that he has. So, guys, we're down to 2 minutes. Go ahead, Fred.
Oh, I just want to say thank you, Dante, for having me on. Make sure you guys go to Barbershop Conversations. We got a big fight coming up. I'm pretty sure Dante put the link in the description box. Why don't you guys just go ahead and subscribe, because my channel is far better than Dante's. So just go ahead and subscribe.
I love when you speak the truth. I love when you speak the truth.
I appreciate you having me on about that.
All day, man. And y'all already know. Also, go ahead and subscribe to Arab, AK Arab King. You know, we giving you all kind of nicknames, but subscribe to his channel as well. Speaking the truth. Anything? Hey, no doubt, man. You want to say something? Close out real quick, AK.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me on the show and keep the good work up.
I appreciate it, fam. Hey, guys, I want to let you guys know once again, we're going to be back to doing the show on the regular schedule on Tuesdays. Now, I'm also going to be doing a live show on the Google Hangout as well, and we're going to go ahead and take calls, okay? So all you guys that have been saying, you know, you want to call in and you're a fan of the show, you know, you want to support or you want to just talk boxing, you're going to have an opportunity very, very soon. We'll probably start that up next week and, you know, get some calls in. All right, y'all. So we will see you guys next week. Once again, thanks to all my guests on the panel. I'm your boy Dante, Dante's Boxing Nation. It's the nation, baby. We out, y'all.